that you said it's not the time to be doing elaborate. I think all of us we've all,
and there's always Swiggy and Zomato and everything moving everywhere. So it is temptation like never before as well.
Absolutely. And we've seen it all. We've seen people who are bored in the first lockdown become such professional cooks and whip up such fancy stuff. And like you say, the drone Swiggies and the Dunzos. And what I think the government intended to be as meals on wheels for people who are unable to make food for themselves has now become a sort of a eat out every single day, 3 times a week, because it's so easily and readily available. So that's one. And also it's sort of a little bit of a downer. Sometimes I feel the social inequity of it all, where we are busy preparing meals and serving it up. And then there's a section of the society that can barely afford 3 meals a day. So I would think that, in order to keep it really simple, go back to the old back to basics, where you never eat a full stomach. You eat only about 3/4 of your stomach. Never fill yourself up. And always balance your meal so you have a little bit of everything. Source it locally. Please don't go buy fancy stuff. We all like to, eat different. That's fine. But you don't have to necessarily make it a part of your regular routine to have whey protein or quinoa or exotic stuff. It's nice to taste it once in a while. Eat what the local people eat to the extent that it conforms with your religious and cultural sentiments. Because, obviously, if you don't want to eat meat and everybody in your area tends to eat meat, you might want to find alternatives that are protein-based and suit you. Because a lot, most often the locals have found a meal plan that works best for the climate, as well as what's locally sourced and is seasonal, rather than having your imported New Zealand oranges and your strawberries from somewhere else. You can actually balance your diet very well with locally sourced food. And they're a lot easier on your gut, and genetically and racially, you probably can digest them better and will keep you far more regular. And I would always say less is more. I think the more we have excesses, it's difficult. Watch your oil content. Also, looking back, growing up, I did not find the amount of animal protein that's now easily available. I think there was a far more moderation at that time. For the amount of large quantities of animal protein require you to have large amounts of exercise and workout as well. And if you're not going to do that, then it simply becomes a question of, wanting to satisfy your taste rather than requiring that nutrition. So I would think that, go back to the basics. If there were rules in most people about trying to fast one day or abstain from a certain type of food, I don't think that to me, it doesn't appear to be necessarily religious as much as trying to provide some sort of a discipline or a cookie cutter plan, make it a no-brainer for you to just follow through. And they actually are just ways for you to even out your calorie intake and your protein intake for the whole month. Either you do it that way or you download an app. There are so many of them now which are good, what works for you, and input your food and your step count and stay active and eat less.